South Africa's regulation of interception of communications and provision of communication-related information Act 70 of 2002, also known as RICA, requires the details of all telecommunication users to be registered. However, many have been able to purchase pre-Rica'd or improperly Rica'd SIM cards for the longest time. The issue of pre-Rica'd SIM cards has been brought into sharp focus at the Senzo Metiwa trial, where it has been revealed that some of the SIM cards used by the suspects were not properly Rica'd. The question is, how have other countries been dealing with this issue, and more importantly, how does ICASA plan to deal with this? Well, joining us to discuss this further is SABC News economics editor Tshepo Moai. Tshepo, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
No, it's a pleasure to have you with us. So the proliferation of pre-Rica'd SIM cards as well as improperly Rica'd SIM cards is quite a problem. They're easily accessible, for some even leading to them thinking that perhaps there's no greater effort to deal with this problem. So perhaps let's start with just the distinction. What do we mean when we're talking about pre-Rica'd SIM cards versus improperly Rica'd SIM cards?
Well, pre-Rica'd, they also call it pre-registered SIM card. You walk downtown or, as a corner shop, you can be able to purchase a SIM card that you can use. That SIM card already has details. It is already registered, but in most instances, it's just a fictitious name or someone else's details that are used so that that SIM card can be activated, because the law, in terms of the law, a SIM card, any SIM card cannot be activated provided there are details in terms of who's using it, the address, the store where it was activated. So all that needs to be in place. And then we have properly registered SIM cards. And sometimes you'd find that the details are there, they're incomplete. It's usually with some retailers who have the right to register SIM cards. They don't do it properly. Some of them, they really want to achieve targets. They want to push the sales,
and perhaps for convenience for their customers.
Absolutely, they want to push up targets. So if a customer doesn't have certain information, they will improvise that, where you'd find that you can't really make sense of certain information that's linked to that particular SIM card. And of course, and I mean, sometimes people do it when people who are buying cell phones for their kids, or kids who wants to have cell phones, maybe with the consent or without consent of their parents, they will go to the street corner and buy a pre-registered SIM card.
Defeating the very purpose of the legislation, because this is meant for security.
Absolutely, it is. But the other question is really if telcos, the network providers, really have the interest to deal with it. They know behind the scenes. I mean, when we talk about, for example, any network provider, probably they have millions of subscribers. The question is, how many of that is actually a pre-registered SIM or properly registered SIM? That's probably, it's a big number, and they're generating millions and billions of rands.
So if they had to enforce this, it would mean shaving off a substantial amount of their profit. Absolutely.
In Nigeria, for example, the government was quite firm in dealing with this. They did their own investigation, and they gave telecommunications companies time to audit the numbers. Because they had a feeling that there was a substantial number of SIM cards in the network. And there was a reluctance until when the regulator there said, we're going to switch off so that we start afresh, and we want to make sure that each and every SIM card is actually properly registered. If it's not, then that number must be suspended.
Then just in closing, what is ICASA doing? Because here they've acted decisively, that's Nigeria. What is ICASA doing about this?
Well, we know in 2022 they came up with a regulation. Among the proposal in that regulation was that they must link a SIM to a biometric data of the users. And of course, South Africa being South Africa, there were a lot of concerns around personal information, protection of personal information. But we already know that when it comes to biometric data, fingerprint, recognition of your face, banks are already using it. So it's a technology that is already in existence that can be used to deal with this problem of pre-registered SIM cards that is growing.
As usual, appreciate your time.